Okay, my next featured artist, we have a lead vocalist from a band from the Midlands now, Maxwell Avenue. Welcome to the show, Ben Woodward. It's good to have you on here.
Thank you for having us. Really appreciate
That's
it.
good. And Maxwell Avenue, you're a trio. Would you like to introduce yourself to my listeners and the band members too?
Yeah, so my name is Ben Woodward. I'm the lead vocalist and guitarist of Birmingham pop rock band Maxwell Avenue. Unfortunately, obviously, because of COVID reasons, we can't have the other guys with us today.
Hmm.
But in the band, we have Jake McCarthy-Mansbridge on the bass and backing vocals, and we also have Sam Warrington on the drums.
Ace, and how did you come up with your band name?
Well, I started university back in 2017. It's where I currently am, actually, at the moment in Derby. And the name Maxwell Avenue is a street next to the main campus at Kedleston Road. And I used to host a radio show called Phantom Radio. And I was trying to figure out a name for months and months and months. And then I walked past Kedleston Road and I never noticed the side road. And the side road said Maxwell Avenue. And I kind of thought, yeah, that would be a pretty cool band name.
That's great to be geographical and come up with a band name. That's good going.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we kind of wanted to, keep where we met originally as part of us, and that's it's sort of stuck since then.
Yeah, so you're from the Midlands and Birmingham as well. That's played a part in your lives as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm originally from Tamworth, but like I say, I'm living in Derby currently. Uh, Jake, he's from Burton, and then Sam's from Nottingham. So, I mean, with the Birmingham roots that we currently
Yeah,
have, we consider that our hometown purely on the basis that we do loads of shows there,
yeah,
within the year.
that's cool. So where West Midlands, East Midlands meets, that's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your new song, it's called Chevy 69, has influences of Back to the Future and 1950s rock and roll legends.
That's correct, yes. So, I mean, my favourite film is Back to the Future. I'm absolutely in love with it. And, yeah, one day I decided to sit down and I kind of took the inspiration from the band Busted because they wrote a track called Year 3000. And that is originally based on Back to the Future. And I kind of thought, well, it's my favourite film as well. Why can't I do the same?
Yeah,
But mine had a different spin on it, really. Mine's more on the story of George and Lorraine McFly from the film, their sort of love interest.
yeah.
And I mean, obviously, from personal reasons, knowing what relationships are like, I kind of was able to write it more fluently. And I tried to throw in a few like 50s and 60s
Yeah,
references in where I could.
that's great. And I'll tell you a good film to write a song about the love interest between Danny and his girlfriend in Karate Kid. That's another great 80s film.
That's not a bad idea, to be fair. That's not a bad shout, actually.
My radio name is Danny Son, believe it or not. So I'm a bit biased.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. And on to cars. Do you like your vintage cars, like your Chevys? And
No, you see, yeah, I've always wanted a 1969 Chevrolet Camaro. I've always wanted one. I'm a big fan of muscle cars in the respect of, classic sort of vibe. Um, so that's the sort of reason why I decided to write the song Chevy 69 because my favourite car is a Chevy and it just sort of stuck. I mean, we were going to call the song 1965, but I don't think that really works as well.
yeah. And do you like the vintage cars? I can't for the life of me remember them. But the cars you see like in Cuba, those nice American long cars.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of the sort of Netflix shows like Rush Valley Cars, where they take all these old vintage, 1950s and 60s
Yeah.
cars, and they revamp them to modern day standards. And yeah, I'm obsessed with it, really. To be fair.
Is it the Chevrolet? Is it? Or is it?
Yeah, the Chevrolet Camaro. So that's the car which is technically featured on the track. It's basically about going for a drive to a drive-in
Hmm.
and trying. He's basically seen a girl and he's trying to win her over. So that's the story. And I mean, the references to the guy dancing in the movies on the screen is again George McFly. So that's the reason
Yeah.
why. Yeah.
I remember in my childhood I used to like those Hot Wheel toy models. They were great. They
Oh, I
were.
was obsessed with Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Absolutely obsessed with them back in the day. And Scalextric.
Cool. So we've talked a little bit about cars there. How do you describe your sound?
I sound. I mean, for me personally as a writer, I only started writing songs about crikey 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And the first album that I ever bought was Room on the Third Floor by McFly. And that has always stuck with me since. I've always been a massive McFly fan. I've been fortunate to meet them over the past few years. And McFly is probably one of the biggest influences alongside the likes of Busted. We have some Green Day influences in there.
Yeah.
But we also have, aside from the sort of pop, rock and punk, we also have some 50s influences. I mean, obviously the style of the song is quite rockabilly. And we have sort of Chuck Berry, Little Richard, we have the Beatles, we have the Stones. Sam, our drummer, he's a massive fan of the Jam, and so is our bassist Jake. Yeah. So there's so many different elements of music and different artists that are blended into this track. It just works. I don't know why, but you know, the mixture. It's like putting Blink-182 and the Beatles in a cocktail.
Yeah, bit of a fusion there, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's got a very sort of fuzzy sound to the track. It's very fuzzy and quite raw. So I mean, we wanted it to be quite a dirty track.
Yeah. And
on the EP, we have another track called Johnny Jeff. And that one's more punk pop. That's more. It definitely has some more 50s influences. Like you can definitely hear the sound. We have a bit of like Beach Boys elements going on with the harmonies. But this song currently is the most raw track that we've ever recorded so far.
Very nice. So I'm going to chat about your upcoming EP momentarily. Onto the 2000s. So, you know, Charlie from Busted, he was in Fight Star as well. Did you?
He was, yeah. I've been fortunate to see them at Download Festival.
Awesome.
And I must admit, I do like my rock and my metal and everything. I do like Fight Star, but I'm always going to be part of Busted. I'm always going to have that love for them. You know, I'm always going to be a Busted fan.
Yeah. Were you ever into, like, say, the Jets and the Caesars and Dandy Warhols? They kind of incorporated 60s.
Yeah, no, I remember the Dandy Warhols. I do remember. It's like, who's that band now that I went to go see? Crikey.
There's a few indie bands, isn't there, in the 2000s?
Massive. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's... Oh, sorry, I've got one. The Hoosiers.
Oh, yeah.
The Hoosiers were definitely the sort of Londoner sort of type of indie rock, which sort of started it off for me. I remember watching them on Kerrang when I was probably about 13 years old on my telly, on my little box telly. And Goodbye Mr. A was on. And they had some brass in that track. And since then, every single song that I've done, I've always imagined it like I could write an orchestral piece to it, almost like a horn section or a string section. And on the EP, we have a few tracks which I've been able to do so, and we've also been releasing an orchestral edition of one of the rock tracks that we've got on the album. So it's quite nice to be able to blend different genres, as I say, together to create this EP. So
your EP, it's called Happily Ever After. You've told us a little bit more about it. Is there still some more exciting tracks to come from that record?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the EP, unfortunately, because of our producer that we had at the time, it's been over a year and a half since we recorded this EP, and he unfortunately did let us down. And I decided to take over on that and say, you know what, I'll do it myself, producing it, because I'm a producer at university anyway. And the EP, we did originally want it to be about 10 tracks long. We've got so much new material that we just want to release to the guys and the fans that listen to us. It's been very difficult over the past year with coronavirus and everything going on to be able to record further tracks. But the songs that should have been featured on this EP will be featured on an album we'll be releasing in April next year.
Oh, nice.
So it's a nice album. We've not revealed anything about it yet, but no, Happily Never After is something that I've had in my head for a while, and I'm so glad that we're finally releasing it.
So it's kind of like a teaser towards the next kind of full album.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Absolutely. I mean, the Happily Never After, I kind of wanted it to be like a bit of like a fairy tale set in modern day society, which is why it's Never After rather than Ever After. And the elements of this track, I mean, the actual EP, we sing and speak about certain elements of modern day society, which is seen in young people such as myself. You know, I speak heavily on bullying and, you know, finding love and relationships and heartbreak. But this album that we're doing next year, it dives deeper into modern day society in respect of, unfortunately, male suicide, depression, anxiety, you know, feeling isolated, all sorts of elements, but in a positive form. You know, we're not gonna be completely sad. We're not Adele.
Yeah.
You know, we're a rock pop band, punk pop band, and some of the tracks that we're releasing next year are miles better compared to what we're releasing currently. It's the music that we're releasing next year. We can't wait to record.
Okay, and in Birmingham, is it upsetting to see so many established rock venues closing down? Just the other day, there was a picture of the Flapper and Firkin just by the canal side. Kind of.
Yeah.
Just.
I've heard about the Flapper closing down. I have played a couple of gigs there in the past, and it's such a shame. I mean, we're supposed to be playing the Sunflower Lounge in Birmingham. I think it was the 5th of May this year, but because of Corona, obviously we had to cancel the gig. We've never played the Sunflower Lounge, and it's always been something that we've been trying to do since we started. We've played at venues around Birmingham like the Victoria, the Castle and Falcon. Fortunately, we've been given the opportunity to play the O2 Institute and the O2 Academy.
Sorry, I was just going to interrupt you there. Scruffy Murphy's as well?
Yes, no, definitely. Oh, nice. I've never played there, though. That's the thing. There's certain venues around Birmingham which we just haven't had the opportunity to play yet. And we're just diving at any opportunity we can. Now that we've been taken up by Martin, who is taking over our PR, he's been incredible, and we kind of hope that next year we might be able to sort something out with us and get us back on the road again.
Right. Thank you very much, Ben Woodward. That car which I was thinking about was called the Cadillac. That's just sprung to mind.
The Cadillac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for telling us all about your band, Maxwell Avenue. We're going to play one of your tracks now. For now, with the Chevy 69, we'll get that on the airwaves for you.
If you could, that'd be great. Thank you so much for having us.
Righty-ho. Hopefully, best of luck with this EP, and hopefully we'll check in with you soon next year just to
that'd be fantastic.
Some updates. Right, you take care, and speak to you soon.
See you soon.
Take care. Bye.